I'm Starr, and I'm a psychology professor and author exploring human behavior. Today, I want to talk about a subject that is reshaping how we engage with one another: the interplay between misinformation and political polarization. These forces don't just impact our opinions. They shape our identities, relationships, and the very fabric of our communities. Misinformation isn't new, but its speed and reach in today's digital age make it uniquely powerful. When it intersects with political polarization, the consequences can feel overwhelming. The two feed into each other, creating a self-perpetuating cycle of division. To make sense of this, it's helpful to unpack how misinformation takes hold in the first place, why polarization fuels its spread, and what we can do to challenge these patterns. At its core, misinformation thrives because it appeals to the way we process information. Our brains aren't perfect truth seekers. Instead, they rely on shortcuts to navigate a world filled with complexity and uncertainty. These shortcuts, called heuristics, help us make quick decisions, but can lead us to accept falsehoods as fact. Take the availability heuristic, for instance. If a story is dramatic or emotionally vivid, like a sensational rumor or a fear-inducing headline, it sticks in our minds. This creates the illusion that it's not only true, but also common. Pair this with confirmation bias, the tendency to gravitate toward information that supports what we already believe, and it becomes easy to see why misinformation spreads so effectively. It feels comfortable to accept something that aligns with our worldview rather than question it. But misinformation isn't just about what we think, it's about how we feel. Fear and anger are especially potent motivators. A false claim that stokes fear about safety or outrage, about perceived injustice, bypasses our logical filters, demanding an immediate emotional reaction. This emotional charge makes it more likely we'll share the information with others, even if it's not accurate. If misinformation has always existed, why does it feel so much more pervasive now? The answer lies in how information is delivered and consumed. Social media platforms, designed to keep us engaged, are structured to prioritize content that sparks strong reactions. This often means misinformation rises to the top, where it's shared and reshared at an unprecedented pace. These platforms also create echo chambers, where people are exposed primarily to viewpoints that match their own. This reinforces existing beliefs and shields users from alternative perspectives. Over time, these environments make misinformation harder to challenge because it becomes part of a shared reality. In these echo chambers, corrective information, no matter how well researched, is dismissed as biased or false. Visual misinformation adds another layer to the problem. Manipulated photos, misleading infographics, and deepfake videos are highly persuasive. Our brains are wired to trust what we see, so when we encounter visually striking falsehoods, we're more likely to believe them. The emotional weight of an image often eclipses the need to fact-check. Misinformation finds fertile ground in polarized environments. When societies become deeply divided, political affiliation becomes more than just an opinion. It becomes a core part of identity. This intensifies the us versus them mentality, where opposing groups are not just seen as wrong, but as threats. One reason this happens is the tendency to view those outside our group as homogeneous. In a polarized society, people often stereotype the other side as monolithic, ignoring the diversity of thought within that group. This dehumanization makes it easier to dismiss or even vilify those with differing perspectives. Polarization is also fueled by differing moral priorities. People often assume their values are universal, but that's rarely the case. For instance, one group may prioritize fairness and equality, while another focuses on loyalty and tradition. Misinformation preys on these moral divides by framing issues in ways that deepen the sense of conflict. It paints the other side as not only mistaken, but morally bankrupt. The most troubling aspect of polarization is how it reduces our willingness to engage with those who disagree with us. Instead of seeking understanding, many retreat into ideological strongholds, where misinformation flourishes unchecked. Misinformation and polarization don't just coexist. They reinforce each other. Polarization makes people more susceptible to misinformation that aligns with their beliefs, while misinformation deepens polarization by portraying the opposing group as dangerous or untrustworthy. This feedback loop creates a climate where dialogue becomes nearly impossible. Distrust in institutions exacerbates this cycle. When people lose faith in traditional sources of authority, such as the media or scientific organizations, they turn to alternative sources that often prioritize ideology over accuracy. Once this trust erodes, even well-supported facts struggle to gain traction. The consequences are far-reaching. On a societal level, misinformation undermines democratic processes by skewing public opinion and decision-making. On a personal level, it increases stress and anxiety, as people feel caught in a constant barrage of conflicting and divisive information. Breaking the cycle of misinformation and polarization is no small task, but it's not impossible. One of the most effective tools is media literacy. Teaching people how to evaluate sources, recognize biases, and fact-check claims can reduce the spread of falsehoods. This isn't just a skill for students. It's something everyone can benefit from, regardless of age or background. Another powerful strategy is fostering empathy. When people see the humanity in those who hold opposing views, it becomes harder to dismiss them as enemies. Programs that bring together individuals from different ideological backgrounds can create spaces for meaningful dialogue and mutual understanding. Technology companies also have a role to play. Social media platforms must take responsibility for the algorithms that amplify misinformation. By promoting transparency and prioritizing diverse viewpoints, they can help create a healthier information ecosystem. Finally, change starts at the individual level. We can all contribute by pausing before sharing sensational content, seeking out multiple perspectives, and questioning why we believe what we do. These small acts of critical thinking can have a ripple effect, creating a culture that values truth over convenience. Misinformation and polarization are among the most pressing challenges of our time, but understanding their roots gives us the power to address them. By recognizing the psychological forces at play and taking steps to counteract them, we can begin to rebuild trust and foster connection. It's not about winning debates or changing minds overnight. It's about creating a space where dialogue and understanding can thrive. These challenges remind us that the truth is not just a fact to be uncovered. It's a responsibility we all share. Together, we can move toward a future where misinformation loses its grip and division gives way to unity. Thank you for joining me in this exploration of misinformation and political polarization. If you found this discussion insightful, I'd greatly appreciate it if you'd hit the like button below, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and share it with others who might benefit. Together, we can keep the conversation going and work toward a more connected and informed world. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you again soon.